This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Welcome to Nerd Skool.
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Yeah.
Suck it, nerd!
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Suck it, nerd!
Nerds! Nerds! Nerds!
Suck it, nerd!
Visit me, daddy ass.
Welcome to Nerd Skool.
My name is Low Key. Welcome to the Nerd Skool podcast. You jerk.
Artemis Prime.
He's pretending to be here.
Maybe
I was pausing for dramatic effect.
Oh, excuse us.
Well, it worked. We were scared.
Were we scared?
We were sad and scared, all of us.
I was very
We were
terrified.
scared and scared because that's your lover. The
I was
rest of us
crying.
were fine.
I was crying inside. My boner went away.
I was sad for Joe.
uh,
I was crying when you left me.
Lord, everyone gets a
and I'm
serenade from our star.
dying. Just yeah, it's Liv Tyler. That Liv Tyler sings that song.
She does not sing the song.
Prove it.
She's just in the video.
Oh,
I
welcome
think
to
that's
another.
easily provable, Joe.
It is. Welcome to
Yes.
another episode of Nerd Skool.
Yep.
Hey,
Where-
nerds.
This episode, we're going to talk about Night Court, episode
Yeah.
1.
This is one of those episodes likely where we're supposed to talk about one thing. We end up on a tangent about another thing, and then time's up because we all go to work.
Yeah, I do think.
Right.
Yeah, we're short in time. We're recording this on a work day. We all have to head out different places, so we squeezed this in so that we can keep our bi-weekly episodes coming to you, our fans, Nerd Skool fans.
But that's okay. We have plenty to talk about.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
the plan
this
is to start,
Avengers Infinity War.
to intro into Infinity War, but just dip our toe in because we all haven't had a chance to check on it. But we also are going to talk a little bit about our upcoming Heroes Con appearances in Charlotte, North Carolina, at Heroes.
That's right.
Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Also, did we
Uh,
release? Did we release any conversation when we went on our special field trip?
Oh, we did, and apparently you didn't listen to the episode that Art started.
Yeah,
I
it
did. I don't get notices
probably
anymore.
it was probably the fourth or fifth greatest episode of Nerd Skool.
No. I also would not listen to much when it's just you two. So let me know.
Whoa.
That's
Whoa.
the best time to listen because it's like, whoa, you
No.
know? It's like there's no filter, there's no
That's
Uncensored.
why it's an issue.
There's
Oh,
no
I
uncensored.
see it now.
No holds
You know why
barred.
it doesn't notify me anymore? I used to get
It's,
a new episode.
it's unsanctioned Nerd Skool podcast episode.
Yeah, I
It
think
makes me nervous that you guys spent an hour and 18 minutes by yourselves.
yeah, we talked
Yeah.
a lot
Oh.
about TBJ. I'll say that much.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of Joe and Art Clay.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Dear listeners, our apologies when you have those two, because I know they go off the rails. I haven't listened yet. I'll go
What-
back.
You might want to call it a TBJ appreciation episode almost.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I included the interview we did with the curator of the
Patrick Reed.
The
Patrick Reed, the curator
Marvel
of
World
the,
of Superheroes exhibit
Marvel-
over
yeah.
at the Discovery Place.
and we tweeted out a link to the episode, and he retweeted it, and so did Discovery Place. So boom, retweets.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
It included the whole interview with him. But I haven't sent. I've been trying to put together a video of all the stuff, but
Yeah,
haven't
that was
really
a,
had lot of
a
time.
really cool exhibit. We were very glad to be there, and I was mistaken in that I thought we had as much time as we wanted in there, so I was going through and reading every little word of every little thing, and then
The fans know. The fans know.
they shooed me out at 12:30 p.m. and everybody else was gone. So it was like, oh, okay, and I only got
That's
like
because we
halfway
had
through it.
till 12, Andy.
Yeah,
They
you
still
were supposed
gave
to be
you
out.
extra time.
Yeah, you're supposed to be out at 12.
Yeah.
So you're a
No
you're a
one told me
bad
that.
person.
When we walked in, they said, "Yeah, take your time." I didn't realize I only had a limited amount of
They
time.
didn't know what take your time meant for you.
Yeah, they
Yes.
didn't know Andy and who you are. And when you say
I was
take your time,
studying.
And we alluded to that. We actually talked about that in that episode about how you got to get kicked out. And I told Art about what it was like growing up with you. And when we were ever told, hey, you can pick out a Hot Wheel, we'd all be pissed and we'd just leave the store pissed because it took Andy 8 hours to pick out a Hot Wheel. Everybody else got their Hot Wheel and they're ready to go.
It was a very important opportunity. Like you didn't often get.
You didn't want to waste your choices.
Pick something out. The same thing with candy bars. I just stare there in paralysis.
Yes.
Like, all right, which candy
The
bar would be the
candy
most
bars.
delicious?
Like, come on, Andy, just fucking pick a candy
Andy
bar.
suffered from FOMO with the kid.
Yeah. I was paralyzed by FOMO when it came to that.
Yeah, it was the worst. Because then all the other kids had to sit and wait for his ass to fucking pick it. I want to eat my goddamn candy bar, but I can't because you won't goddamn pick one.
Nothing's stopping you from eating.
And our
while
parents
I'm still picking.
You can't eat in the store, bruh. The parents would be
Step
like,
outside.
Andy.
Did you say bruh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our parents would be like, Andy, if you don't pick one in the next 2 minutes, I'm picking for you. And they still wouldn't hurry up. But it'd still be another 5 minutes. Yeah.
I
Now, I
remember
will
being.
note though, segue, Joe, you can also take a long time doing things because I'm going to reference back to last year when we walked around the con.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I've done 5 laps
I was
going back for
paralyzed.
you. And Andy was closer to where I was each time, yet you seemed further and further back each time.
Well, I had never been to something like that, so it was new to me.
And he
You
was
were learning something.
appreciating it. He was soaking it
Listen.
all in.
You can appreciate it and not be lapped by me 50 times. I'm not a fast walker. I am a southern stroller. So if I am lapping
I don't know.
you are moving
Sometimes
slowly.
I have seen you hold hands and skip with Kevin Groom.
You see me hold hands and skip.
Yeah, you
If
and
I
Kevin.
were to hold
Kevin
hands
Groom.
and skip with anybody, it would be Kevy. But I am not a skipper. I am a southern stroller. So when I'm lapping you, that means you are indeed taking a moment. And I'm stopping to chat, pick up things, buy things, and you're still lapping. And in case anyone's listening and you haven't bought your passes or tickets yet,
Yeah.
the Heroes Con is happening in Charlotte, June 16th through the 18th at the Charlotte Convention Center, Uptown Charlotte. And since Joe is talking about it, if you aren't paying attention to us, we're going to be there again.
Yes, we have 2 panels, Saturday and
2.
Sunday, right? Saturday's at
Yep.
5 p.m. And that will be the Heroes Debate, where you can come, listeners, and participate. We will have the great LJ Bowens as our moderator, and he will moderate debates, and we'll do some example ones. Andy and I will face off, and TBJ and Artstar will face off. You pick a hero or character ahead of time, and then randomly drawn from a hat is a topic that you have to debate that your hero or character is the best at whatever that is.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be topics you think you're going to debate for heroes. I think you should point that out, Joe.
It's not going to be like
always the
fighting
wildest
villains.
things.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not going to be like
Who would win in a fight? That's the classic nerd argument. But this would be who would win in a love advice column.
Yeah.
Who would be
who
the
would
best
be
to
a
do in that?
better
Who
advice
would be a better
columnist.
landscaper?
And you get a minute on each side to do your argument, and then like a minute and a half rebuttal, and then you get another minute to do your closing argument, and then the audience decides.
Ooh, and guys, I'm working on prizes. So if you come and you debate and you're awesome, TBJ's in our craft corner working on some prizes for you.
Yeah, I got.
That's right, handmade TBJ business.
Yeah, I have a nerd.
And they're pretty cool.
I have my
they're
Nerd Skool
pretty
glass
cool.
right here. I don't know if you can see it.
Listen, I don't think I told you guys this, but I think I did. We got new stickers also.
Yay.
coming.
Sweet.
We have pins. Andy said once upon a time, nerd recognized nerd. So we have some pins.
Yes.
And then we have a limited supply of new keychains.
Yay.
Nice.
Yeah, I
That'd
have
be cool.
my keychain on me at all times, almost always. So that said, so that's what we'll be doing Saturday at 5. So I don't know if we want to reveal have we picked our characters yet, or do we want to pick our characters who we're going to be debating? It might be fun to do.
It'd be
here.
a secret, but I feel like we should at some point make sure we don't have the same characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be Star
But I
Wars.
don't think we would.
Yeah, I don't think we would.
I think it's not
And-
hard to guess what I would choose.
And we know Joe
It's gonna be a
is just gonna
muggle.
pick
I'm
a
not gonna
muggle.
muggle. I live life of a muggle, but I'm not a muggle. I would
TBJ
not
will probably
ship-
pick Batman, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for knowing me well, Andy. I
Yeah.
appreciate you.
Whereas
This
Joe
is
will
why
probably
you're my
pick.
favorite.
I'm gonna pick Jam Master J.
Who's
pick
in an
Jam
action
Master?
figure right behind you.
Yeah, he's somewhere over here. Here's one of these.
Yeah.
I'll probably pick Zaymont.
The Tomax and Zaymont, G.I. Joe. And
No.
Artstar will pick Kylo Ren. And I haven't decided who I'd pick yet.
I might pick Betty White. Oh, she's dead.
Yeah, Betty
I
White's
mean,
good.
she is a superhero.
That she is.
I might pick Ron Funches.
Ron Funches is a cool one. That's a great one. Can I pick TBJ?
Yeah.
I might
What
pick
an
Joe.
honor. What an honor.
We pick each other. We'll see who we'll pick. But and then Sunday at what time? Sunday 2 or 3? I can't remember.
I think it's two.
2.
2 p.m. on Sunday. We will be doing the villain tournament.
Sports ball rankings.
The Madness style tournament bracket like we did last year. We had a couple of panels of just comic book movies and comic book television shows.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who won the television show tournament. I know Black Panther won the movie tournament. But
Ooh,
basically,
I'm trying to remember too.
But we're going to change it up a little bit this time. There's 64 villains in competition. However, each one of us has our own division. So each one of us is picking 16 nominated villains to compete against each other. And then whoever wins the TBJ division is going up against, say, whoever wins the Joe division. And then that's the final 4. And then me against Art, or however we wind up playing it. And then it becomes a final 4 between the 4 of us.
So Boss
I will
Hog.
note for those who
win
are
it all.
voting in the TBJ division, she can bribe you. Know that.
Yes.
And side note, Daredevil won our TV series last year.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I figured because everyone likes Daredevil.
gotta
I need to
watch that.
rewatch that.
Everyone left Charlie Cox.
That's right.
He said Cogs.
Ha-
Somehow I knew you were going to go there, Joe. I
we
knew it.
Thanks for knowing Joe that well.
I do think it's probably a good idea. I mean, Andy, I know you're putting together like a PowerPoint of the brackets, but maybe since we each have our own division, we should. I'm thinking more on mine. I mean, you guys are doing ones that nerds will know. I'm doing a lot of characters that younger people probably have never heard of, like 70s sitcom villains. So maybe I should like do. Maybe each one of us should do a short blurb on why we chose our villain. Like each villain, like through, like this is this villain. This is why we picked him. Now vote, blah, blah, rather than just like saying the two.
Yeah, we'll list the 2, and then if we have anything to
But
say
then,
about the
with
matchup,
that,
some of them will be
though, with
obvious.
that, we also have to realize we have this umbrella that we're under. So, like, even though it's a short blurb, I don't feel like we need to. I don't think we should have to explain everyone because that can get.
You probably won't, but if
like
if
might
you're
be too
prepared with a
long.
quick, short sentence in case the audience is like, "Who is that?" You can be like, everyone's favorite maniacal professor. You can do simple, but we can work under the assumption that people probably know. But if they don't, a short blurb.
Yeah. Everyone knows Darth Vader. Not as many people are going to know Boss Hog from the Dukes of Hazzard. So we'll play it by ear. We'll know when we need explaining.
Yeah. So just know your bracket really, really well in case you have to like let the audience know, and then make it a short blurb and let them vote. Again, TBJ team TBJ in the Eastern Southeastern Conference. That's what I'm naming myself. Is bribe ready if she needs to win?
Yep, she's got the swag.
Tournament.
Swag.
You can dangle a keychain in front of you and make you change your vote.
There you go. Get close to me, friends. TBJ's got
That's right. And
I'll say
I'm
your
also
name. I'll do your voicemail message for you.
Well, look at Art trying to bribe
be
people
good.
with a good old voicemail.
Like, hey, how you doing? This is Veronica. Leave a message after the beep.
I love it. That's a callback. I don't know how nerdy everyone is, but if you listen to the game show on NPR, wait, don't tell me. That is often one of the prizes that the host will leave a voicemail for the winners.
Oh, that's fun.
It is fun.
That's a different kind of nerddom. That's NPR.
Nerd. nerddom. But it is nerddom nonetheless.
Oh, listen, I'm an NPR girly from way back. Okay. I may have gone to see Ira Glass twice in person. I'm that girl.
Ooh, I was checking out Marvel Universe of Superheroes while we were talking about that. We got to do that. We put out an episode a little bit about it. We alluded a little bit more. I wanted to let listeners know that it runs through September in Charlotte. And as I was on the website, I got a pop-up that I can buy tickets to Marvel After Hours. It's open from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Which I didn't know that was an option now. So they have Marvel After Hours, exhibition only.
After Hours.
That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's just for people to know. Yeah.
He
there's-
also have a Science on the Rocks
After
one where you can,
Hours.
I guess, add it to it. And
That's what
you
I'm
know.
trying to figure out when the Science on the Rocks is. Like,
it's
that's-
one the 16th, I believe.
And that's Heroes Con weekend, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
It
that's why I
is.
thought it might be smart that they do it.
Yeah, it's the Friday. Maybe they did that on purpose.
Heroes
I'll-
Con, we got that coming up.
I'll
Check
pl-
us out. It's
I'll
all
plug
free.
my appearance on a YouTube show that should be dropping today called Snacktastic Adventures,
Okay.
where
Which
my
you
wife and I
didn't plug
on.
our show, which is the whole
I wore the Nerd School hat, but
Yeah,
I
but you
forgot
did-
to actually mention Nerd School.
What do
Andy,
they
we can't send you out on publicity things if you can't talk about it.
what do they introduce you as? Just a guy? Like they didn't even say that you were from the Nerd School podcast?
No, we were just friends.
Welcome a
But I wore the
guy.
Nerd School hat.
Welcome a guy we know.
Yeah, that's what he
This
that's what he
dude.
does. This dude Leroy, who I work with, also does his YouTube show where he tries weird foods and drinks and beverages and stuff. And he had
Oh, I heard about that show.
yeah, and he had a handful of weird ass sodas. There was a spaghetti flavored soda, a mustard flavored soda, and just a soda called Barf. That we were sampling them, and it's on YouTube, Snacktastic Adventures, and if you want to watch us try weird, gross things, and some of them were gross. I tell you what. And then there might be
I tell
a
you
bonus
what.
episode because we had provided him with some weird, gross sounding candy cane flavors over Christmas, and then we felt like, all right, well, since we gave them those, we should actually try those. There was like a macaroni and cheese flavored, sour cream and onion, ketchup flavored candy canes, pickles, and sardines. And I don't even like pickles regular, so a pickle flavored candy cane was a bad thing. But yeah, it's fun to just taste weird stuff.
Okay, Science on the Rocks is Friday, June 16th. You can find it on Discovery Place, or I just Googled Science on the Rocks Charlotte. It's $18, or no, general admission is $22. Members, it's $18. You have to be 21 and up, and it's 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. You get 4 hours in the museum, and they have drinks that I think you can purchase. It doesn't really have a whole lot of information on the website, but just so you can buy the tickets.
So 4 hours just in the whole place, or 4 hours in the Marvel exhibit?
I guess the whole place, but I don't think
I
they
think
have
it gives you access to the whole museum.
Yeah, it's the whole museum.
Because obviously I need 4 hours to take in the whole Marvel exhibit.
You need probably a half a day by
Yeah.
yourself.
I was looking at every damn thing. I was
You
reading
need
all
to
the
have
words.
you need to have a night at the museum part 3.
And then me and Spider-Man and Black Panther have to team up
Where
again.
Andy gets accidentally locked in the museum, and then we
Yep.
get to see him live his whole night. I love it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we could all go.
And hopefully he ends the night cuddling the Gambit action figure
No,
and be like, "I was so wrong. I love you,
Yeah.
man. I love you,
No.
man.
Gambit is a dingus.
Can you call up Rob? Tell Rob I love him too. I'm sorry."
Well, I gotta say, we're talking a lot about Gambit being a dingus and he wearing that stupid head sock thing, and that's why you
Yeah.
don't like him. But I've been watching on Disney Plus, Marvel
X-Men
X-Men animated series, and they all wear those dumb, stupid things on their
That's
head.
the problem. It was fucking everywhere in the 90s because, like, I think Gambit kind of started it. That stupid head sock
Cyclops
thing.
wears that
He
stupid
came up-
thing.
They all did.
And
It was
Jean
every
Grey.
stupid superhero in the 90s comics was wearing that stupid head sock for a while. DC did it too. It's the ugliest, stupid looking costume thing, and I fucking hated it, and I fucking hated seeing it everywhere, and I blame Gambit for it.
Even though it was not his fault.
It was totally his fault because he
Sound like a
still
little
wears
Remy
it.
the ball.
Tell us how you really feel, Andy. Just let it out.
I don't enjoy Gambit very much.
Did he do something to you? Do you need a safe space to
I believe
talk
I've just
about it?
explained what he did to me. He made all comics a giant goddamn eyesore. In part, Liefeld is also to blame for that, and foil
Yes.
comic covers and ridiculous gimmicks and really like extreme style art. There's some real ugly shit in 90s comics because it's all trying to be extreme. And
Yeah.
every third guy was named Blood something.
I do think
Blood Hawk, Dark Shadow, Night Hawk, Villain, Blood Knight, Night Blood, Blood Strike with a Y. There was a lot of bad shit in the
Strike.
90s comics.
I think Gambit. I think it's stupid that he throws playing cards, but I will say
Which is a gimmick he stole from Bullseye.
I
Who was just
wish-
like really good at
I
throwing
wish-
shit.
I wish people would really take the time to appreciate what Remy LeBeau and who Remy LeBeau is. Like, it's as Andy just said, it's just a gimmick, but it's like Wolverine and his snicked, right? Like
No.
you think like, oh, he has these claws. Oh, he's cool. He has these claws. Let me scratch some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like what's the fuck is Family Guy. Family Guy parodied Wolverine by giving Meg, like, they all got powers, and Meg's powers was she can make her nails just grow long. You know, like it was like a Wolverine type of thing, but like all she could do was make her nails grow long.
That's like
Let
more
me
like
circle
Lady
back.
Deathstrike.
Wait a
Gambit
minute.
Gambit uses those cards, but Gambit is like fucking King Midas. He's like fucking King Midas. Gambit, if he was fucking evil, could literally do like charge up any fucking thing and commit genocide.
How many times can you
He can
say
commit
F word
genocide
in 60 seconds?
I'm
And
just
that's
saying.
why he's cool.
I
He
fucking
can commit
hate the
genocide. That's
gravity.
really cool.
I was making.
He's
a point.
really passionate about this, Andy.
I
Well,
was making a point. Everyone
You were
always
very
says
aggressive in your point making.
does-
I would like
because
the
it's like
record
he
to
does.
play
He
back
does
last
business.
60.
I mean, he does playing cards. He does playing cards. If you read any type of Gambit lore, you'll see that Gambit is a very powerful mutant who just
Yeah.
so happened to say, like, I can use this bit. Like, he's the type he take a fucking penny, as I said, fucking take a fucking penny, charge it, and make it into a megaton nuclear subatomic bomb. But he doesn't. He doesn't.
yeah,
because
that's
he
the
knows-
problem. That's wwhy he sucks, because he can do all these things. Instead, he just throws
But
stupid
he's-
playing cards. And by the way, what does this have to do
And
with
wears a head sock and a dumb, like he wears a dumb little pink
feel
outfit
like-
and then puts a
I
trench
feel
coat
like-
over it with a
I
high
feel
collar
like-
and thinks he's cool.
Listen,
He's got dumb
I
broccoli
feel like
hair.
Andy's only real hate of Gambit stems for his utter disdain and distaste for that guy whose name rhymes with Thrive. Like, if I feel like if
He
it
has
wasn't
nothing to do with
because of-
Gambit.
I feel like if he, I feel
Speaking
like
of nothing to
every-
do with
every
Gambit,
time you mention Gambit, though, who do you mention? Like 9 out of 10 times, it comes back to Thrive Liefeld.
oh,
Rob Liefeld.
what I want to ask is
Yeesh,
why
that's-
Artstar mentioned famous California saxophonist Remy LaBeouf.
That's
Remy
LeBeau.
LeBeau is Gambit's real name. And I got nothing against like
Remy LaBeouf
Gambit-
is a jazz saxophonist, composer, and multi-instrumentalist born in Santa Cruz, California. He co-leads the jazz group the LaBeouf Brothers.
Okay.
Hey.
When was he born and what high school did he go to, Joe?
He was born August
What
3rd,
wrestler also went there?
1986.
What wrestler also went there?
Yeah. That's your
the
thing
school
is finding out.
mascot. That's the other thing.
He
you're like,
started
what's the
playing
school
oboe at
mascot?
age 10 and picked up the saxophone a year later. In high school, he began performing regularly with his twin brother, Pascal LaBeouf. And the brothers started playing their modern jazz group, the LaBeouf Brothers. And
All right, no one gives
in
a shit about any of
2004, he moved to New York City and attended the Manhattan School of Music, the Maroon and Black home of Manny the Polar Bear. That's their mascot.
This is all unimportant stuff. Now let's really talk about Gambit's head sock costume because that's very, very important.
Notable alumni include Ambrose Akinmusire,
I'm sure you got that right.
Charlie Puth. Charlie Puth, you guys know that singer?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I
Current
knew
singer.
TBJ would know her. She knows current.
He's been on Jimmy Fallon a lot, making awesome beats.
So there you
Just
go.
like
He went to
random
school with
things.
Gambit.
No, he
You
didn't.
went to school with Gambit, or you went to school with the jazz artist?
Remy LaBeouf,
Okay.
who Artstar claims as Gambit's real name.
I've never said LaBeouf.
You didn't?
It's
I did
LeBeau.
not. I did not.
Rupert
Remy
In the
LeBeau.
Joe verse, it is what it is.
Rupert Holmes went there. I'm gonna start putting together a real Joverse, where I figure out, we explain how every single character is everybody else they've played in anything.
Every character, every actor has played is
What we
the
call
same character.
what we call the Adam Sandler syndrome.
Why he's the same
s-
character.
But I
as
call
everyone?
the Tom Cruise syndrome.
No.
Yeah, kind of.
Well,
or let's
It's
go a little further
true.
back.
I don't care
The
who
Steven
you are.
Seagal syndrome.
I mean, yeah.
Ugh, so that's a whole other thing.
Oh,
Steven Seagal.
you know, I fell down a
this
rabbit
is
hole
also the same
recently.
category as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Last night I presented
Insane.
the Squid Show at Waxhaw Tap House with our marine biologist friend. It was our first run of it. And I do a PowerPoint. He does a PowerPoint about marine biology, and I do a random PowerPoint on shit I found on the internet. And I started with Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants, who was voiced by an actor named Roger Bumpus. And I discovered that Roger Bumpus was in a TV movie in 1978 called Disco Beaver from Outer Space, about a giant beaver, about a giant disco
Why
beaver.
is this
takes
a
over.
thing?
And I feel like you want to review this movie, don't you?
Well, I just the fact
It's
that
gonna be
Disco
in his
Beaver,
summer movies. but I
Disco
will
Beaver
murder
from
you,
Outer
Joe.
Space exists, and
Joe,
I didn't know
will
that until
murder
yesterday.
You
I need
if we have
everyone
this
to
in our
know
summer watch series.
that Disco Beaver from Outer Space exists. And we ended up talking about tentacle porn because turns out that's a thing.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing.
Tentacle
Tentacle
porn.
porn
Yeah.
is a big thing.
You already knew
Yeah.
about
Monster
tentacle
porn
porn?
in general,
Yeah, tentacle porn is very popular in hentai too.
Yikes.
unfortunately.
Yeah, it's that's when I've said before, like there are dark corners of nerd shit that you don't
And
really want to
tentacle porn
explore.
is the darkest of the corners.
It's not the
No.
darkest, but it's a dark
but
one.
it is one of the dark corners.
Yikes. There's a lot of dark
Yeah.
corners in nerddom, huh?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, Joe, so you know, there are some cons where the after hours
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
panels ish are quite X-rated, and I have a hard time believing said things, but they exist. So nerds are dirty creatures, is what we learned from them.
So speaking of
Darn
after hours and
dirty
parties, I just invited TBJ and Artstar. I don't know why I thought Andy was already invited, but maybe not. But there is a Thursday, there's a Heroes
At a
Con
bar.
pre-party at a bar hosted by
You invited me when?
it's the Ledger on Facebook just like 5 minutes ago or an hour ago.
Okay.
I invited your Facebook person. So
I'll go look. I'll check with my social media person.
See,
and see
culture.
what they say.
Culture CLT Culture. They're hosting a party from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. The Heroes Con kickoff party at Super Abari Game Bar.
Nice.
It's
On
open
the
to
Thursday
anyone.
before the con?
Yeah, the Thursday, the 15th.
A week from this Thursday.
And so that was then there's some
Yeah, I didn't know about that, but I have been to Abari, their pre-pandemic location, and they have some really cool video games there, and I think they've got
Yeah.
a new setup.
I'm now re-listening to some of our episodes using what our podcast is intended to is for people who are like fledgling nerds maybe to listen along, like watch a show and listen and hear us talk about it.
Mhm.
Because I've gone ahead, I've skipped ahead because I can't wait anymore for us to catch up. And I've dipped into phase 4 on my own, and I'll go back and rewatch these again. But so I've watched Captain Marvel now, and I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp and some of the other shit, whatever in order. And then I got
Infinity War and Endgame.
yeah, Infinity War and Endgame. I understand the snap now and everything, and I understand Falcon Winter Soldier better and WandaVision. So I jumped into phase 4, which is WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah, and oh man, I so understand WandaVision so much better. So then I listened back to the episodes we recorded on WandaVision, and I was very embarrassed at like just the fact that I was like, why was I even paying it? I had no idea what the fuck was going on. How
But
did I
that's
still
the
like
whole
it?
point, Joe. You
Yeah.
don't know.
Check this out. Check this out. So yesterday, which was if you're listening to this, June 6th, I was talking to Carrington Wigfall
She's
about the
best.
same subject. And she was saying how she listened to WandaVision and like some of the other shows she haven't watched yet. So she's been like, she loves that we did that. And I was telling her how you just went back and started watching the shows that now that you know shit that you didn't know. I didn't say shit that you didn't know, but you know, shit that you didn't know, but now just going back watching it, it was like you got certain things that you was super stupid as fuck about. Now you know because
Not stupid, just was uninformed about.
hey, I say people who listen to us know by now when I say things towards you guys, I say it out of love. Not because I'm
still debating this nature.
motherfucker. It's just like, you know. Did you catch?
I just want to make
simp-loving
sure that
motherfucker?
other people coming in brand new don't feel stupid. They just feel uninformed. So I have some friends who listen who are just uninformed until they walk through just like Joe. So Joe, no need to feel embarrassed. You didn't know what you didn't know. And that's the whole foundation of why we podcast.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, I mean, I guess just I always think back, like, what was I even like? I was yelling at myself listening to it. I was like, "That's Monica Rambeau, you idiot! She's this. She was in the," and it's like I had no business watching WandaVision. I think, but I think back, it was in the middle of the pandemic. We were all starved for content and new stuff and something exciting in our lives because it sucked. And so you could hear us all been like, "Oh my god, this is great!" And Art Star was like, "They gifted us this. Oh, they gave us this, and they're giving us this show every week." And I am nostalgic for that excitement for that because I remember it was like such a bright thing in such a dark time for everyone. Like it was such an unsure time. People are getting fired and let go of their jobs, and everybody's future was uncertain. We didn't know. I feel like there was a time where a lot of people didn't know if we'd ever go back to normal. Like, is this gonna be the new
Yeah.
no? And so that it was I was nostalgic for that feeling of, hey, this is something different to escape and to have and whatever, to rather than just spend all day drinking, which I guess maybe I'm the only one who did that. But I really had no idea what the hell was happening. I didn't know who these people were. And it's way better now knowing who people are, watching it in order and watching all that. So just knowing Monica Rambeau and being excited about her is cool. And seeing her as a little girl and that. And then when I watched Captain Marvel, it was like, oh, that's Monica Rambeau. I know who that is. Oh, that was kind of cool too, I guess. So, but yeah, Captain Marvel was cool. So many like connections are made and make more sense now. So
Yeah, and that's kind of why nerds are always excited about the MCU because
yeah,
that connects to this
because they
that's
already
the
know
thing.
stuff, and so I'm almost now experiencing stuff as a nerd a little bit more now that I'm going back to Infinity War now, which we're about to jump into. I was just taking notes, watching the beginning of it, and there's stuff now I know because I've watched the rest of the stuff, or not all the stuff, but a lot more. Like, hey, this is like foreshadowing, I think now. Because at the beginning of Infinity War, we can jump into. I don't know if we're ready to like jump into the beginning of Infinity War.
We'll start it.
Just a little
Avengers
bit.
Infinity War. This is
we only have about 15 minutes left in this episode, so we can't really talk about much. But like just up until the pre prologue stuff is what I really kind of wrote down. But the big thing I was going to think about is that one thing I noticed that I wouldn't have known before is when that little scene with Tony Stark and Pepper, and he's talking about his dream that he had. And you know how when you have a dream, you got to pee, and she's like, "Oh yeah," and you wake up and you really have to pee. I was like, "Yeah, everybody has that." And he's like, "No, I had a dream that we had a child, and I named it after crazy uncle. What's his name? Morgan. And I already know now because I've snuck in that he has a child with Pepper, but it's a girl.
In Endgame. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So is that foreshadowing, or is that dream
Yeah.
supposed to be him, like in that reality? Because that reality ended up not happening, right? Because they went back in time and rewrote history. So was that dream just supposed to be what was in an alternate dimension,
No.
or not? Or do we think it was just like a
The time, this is, the time travel thing is a little weird. They didn't actually rewrite history and create a new timeline.
they went into a new time.
That's
right?
that was the whole point of we need to go back in time and get these things and then use them and then go put them back exactly where they were to keep the timeline straight. That's the whole, like, Ancient One and Endgame kind of explains the whole timeline thing.
We'll get into
Which,
that,
of course,
we'll get a little-
yeah, we'll get into that. But this Infinity War in general is like, this is the culmination of the entire MCU up to this point. This is like phase one. It was an experiment to get to the Avengers movie. Can we get introduce all these superheroes in separate movies and bring them into one movie? And that worked like gangbusters. So, and then at the little post credits thing at the end of Avengers was the first time we see Thanos. And then phases 2 and 3 are all building up to this thing where everybody's involved.
And this
like-
whole thing is
Yeah.
a storyline from comics, right? That had to do with the Infinity Stones or whatever in his ring. or
Yeah,
whatever his-
the Infinity Gauntlet storyline.
It's a
which
whole
is,
big storyline, right? That's been in comics,
yeah.
and all nerds know this. Like,
Yeah,
you can't
Thanos
be a
is kind of
nerd if-
synonymous with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Okay.
And I believe that was a Jim Starlin story. Let me
You should
confirm
read
that.
it, Joe. You should read the
I think it's a
story.
Rob Liefeld story. So is this something I could go back? And this where
Don't do that to Andy.
There's another nerd comic question that I sometimes, some of the things I asked this during WandaVision, I was kind of like, I still wanted the answer, and you guys kind of danced around it and still didn't clear. But I think it's a hard question. I'm asking a difficult question because you'd have to be a computer to really answer this the way I'm expecting you to answer it. But so is this a series, the storyline or whatever, that encompasses multiple comic books? Like, not comic books, but comic book lines. So is it like, at this time, the Infinity Gauntlet was like Spider-Man number 78 and Fantastic Four number 153 was part of it, and then you have to read Hulk 78 and then Spider-Man again. Is it like that type of thing, or is it all just its own comic? Does that make sense?
It affected the whole universe, is basically what you're asking. You asking, did it affect the whole
Did it
universe?
like cross over in different comic book storylines? Kind of like, I don't know, like if on Golden Girls,
like King in Black, or
like if Golden Girls,
New 52.
Dorothy has diarrhea and poops all over the neighborhood, and then on Empty Nest, the diarrhea, she runs through and has diarrhea, that kind of thing. Like, because Empty Nest was the neighbors of Golden
Poops
Girls.
all over the neighborhood.
Well,
Poops all over the neighborhood.
she had Activia.
Interesting example, Joe.
It's
Interesting
just a good example, right?
But yeah, that's the
I didn't
standard.
say good. I said interesting.
TPJ, you're always talking about diarrhea.
These standard Marvel crossover format. Like the first big one I think was Secret Wars in the 80s. Where like they have there's a special mini series that puts everybody together, and then like as this sort of blockbuster thing kind of became the norm. It like there's all sorts of tie-in issues that tie into things. Like, here's the main story is in this miniseries, but here's the issue of Moon Knight that ties in. How does this affect Moon Knight? And then
so if one wanted to like get the whole, what's it called, Infinity Gauntlet storyline,
it's
is there a list somewhere? Oh yeah, go ahead.
1991. Jim Starlin, George Perez, who was one of the greatest comic artists of all time.
Perez is that except for Jim Davis?
Except for Jim Davis of Garfield. George Perez would eat Jim Davis his whole face.
I don't know if you saw
Uh,
that the Onion article headline was like Taylor Swift is now seen dating Jim Davis, Garfield creator.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that was old school. But yeah, it's the whole thing with Thanos in this in the comics is that he's in pursuit of all these gems in order to completely wipe out things. He's trying to impress Death, Mistress Death, who is like the embodiment, like the god of death, like the Grim Reaper kind of, but she's like a cosmic character, and he's in love with her. So he's trying to become as powerful to get on her level, and you know, giving her gifts of murdering all these folks. And it's all collected in trade, so you can get the story in a trade paperback in a single thing. You go to Heroes Con, you're going to be able to find it.
what are you talking about? Trade paperback? What is that?
That's basically when comics are
It's like a
released
trade-
issues at a time, like 21 pages or so. Like here's the first issue, second issue, third person.
Yeah, I know.
When it's collected into a paperback form, that's like all the issues are in one book.
Oh, so I could buy a
Well, you
book
can
with
get-
just all that shit in it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Or you can get like an omnibus, which I just looked up on Comixology. It's like 1,217 pages of the Infinity Gauntlet. It's like 1,217.
Wow. So I could get that on comics. I don't like I'm realizing I love the idea of Comixology, but I don't like reading comics on my phone.
That's because
Oh,
you
you need a tablet
get
at
a
least.
tablet. Yeah. Like,
But
if you,
like
like
I
if
don't
you,
like
if
looking
you-
at it on a screen.
But here's the like if you watch it, I'm not watching. If you read it properly, like you can actually, it becomes kind of interactive just because you can, like if you, especially if you're using a tablet, like you can
Gotta
put it
get a
in the
tablet.
guided view. So it's like boom, boom, like you're reading everything, and it's almost like it's not necessarily popping off the page, but the panels are just popping up, so it makes it flow. But then, sometimes, like I think I had a discussion with you about how certain books just can't be viewed properly on a tablet or phone.
Yeah, you just need the
But
book.
it's definitely if you're reading something like a trade or a graphic novel, and like you definitely don't want to be using a phone unless you have one of those new phones where the screen's like 7 inches big. Like other than that, you'll be reading for days, because there's so many pages.
Trade paperback, that's what they call. How have I gone 40 almost 47
Affectionately
years without knowing what
shortened as TPB, not to be confused with
this is?
TBJ.
TBJ.
Yeah.
The great.
Definitely not to be confused.
So
She's
can
one of a
I get these
kind.
at the library? Can I
greatest.
get one of these in the goddamn
you
library?
can.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Infinity Gauntlet was 91, and it was this huge thing where he's trying to wipe out half the universe to impress Death. And then there's two sequels to it, the Infinity War and the Infinity Crusade in 92 and 93. And it was, so it's kind of the basis of these two movies, Infinity War. And I have a copy of it in my attic somewhere, and it's been years since I actually read it, so I'm a little rusty on it, but I kind of want to go digging around in my attic now to pull this out and try to read it so I can have a baseline, so I can be the proper professor for everybody here.
Oh my god.
Joe's going to hold
Yeah.
you to it.
I can't. My password's not working from a Union County Library thing. I was gonna see if I can find it, but shit.
You can also probably hit forget password and reset it.
Yeah, I gotta do all that shit again.
Probably do that, but yeah,
So this
comics
is
at the library.
exciting. I'm gonna read all that because I feel like this is a great, really exciting storyline with the little stones and all that, and so at the beginning of this movie when we started it, I had to stop because I was like, as always, there's so many movies now. There's so much content. Now that I've like gone ahead, I'm kind of in phase 4. I've watched everything up until this, and I was like, I don't remember what's happening. But we open up in this big battle. But I was like, I had to stop it, and then I had to go back. Luckily on Disney Plus, you can kind of neatly just look into the phases in order under Marvel. And so I
Yeah.
went back a little bit. I had to go back to Ragnarok to see the end of that. What happened at the end of that? Oh yeah, okay, I remember. They're heading to Earth with Thor and Loki, and they just beat Hela and
Mhm.
giant fire thing.
Because
And then
when it first came on, you was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Then,
Well, I
like,
was like, yeah, wait, how did they get here? What was happening before this? How did they all get together? And so Thor and Hulk were together, and Loki. They're on their way to Earth with Korg and what's his name?
Asgardian.
Who's the little
and all
guy?
the
They were asking, who's the Korg's
Meek.
little Meek?
Meek.
It's like, oh, where's Meek from? Maybe we'll go to his planet. But oh, Meek's dead. I stepped on him, and then he came back to life. And he's like, oh, what were you asking him again? Never mind. Let's go to Earth. So if none of that happened, they wouldn't even gone to Earth. Because well, I guess they didn't go to Earth because then in the post-credit scene,
yeah,
they get interrupted by Thanos, and that's where this all starts, right?
right.
And then at the
This picks
beginning,
up right at the end of that.
right at the end
post-credit
of that
scene.
post-credit scene, we're like, oh shit, what's this giant ship? And it's Thanos' ship. And we start off at the beginning of this movie, Infinity War, with chaos for Asgardians. We're not even a Warcraft. There's families. There's few warriors here.
Yeah,
We're 22 jump points out of Asgard, which made me question, because if this is right after the Ragnarok, there is no Asgard, right? Asgard's a people, not a place. So what are they?
yeah, but Asgard used to be a place that had a location.
Yeah, but
So
this
if people
we're
know where
now
Asgard was,
out of where
I
Asgard.
mean, not everyone knows Asgard is gone at this point. So
Asgard.
22
which,
jump points out of Asgard.
yeah,
It's an ass place, not an ass people.
ass place. It's an ass place, not an ass. Wait, no, it's an ass people, not an ass place. Asperg.
And we jump right
Yeah,
into.
stop.
But yeah, so
We're just quoting Jeff Goldblum.
that's just at the beginning. So that was my big question at the beginning of that. I was like, well, I thought Asgard doesn't exist anymore. How could they be 22 jumps
Yeah,
out?
and this is like we see the end of Loki here, actually trying to do a noble sacrifice kind of thing.
Yeah,
That
Loki.
he doesn't even think he can get away with it, but he's
and
trying
Heimdall.
anyway.
Yeah,
And then this will that end of Loki, and then in Endgame, the bit with Loki sets up the Loki TV series.
Mm,
That and we did watch that, right? We covered that,
we did.
Yeah.
We did.
but you haven't
did.
started rewatching Loki series, right?
Yeah, I haven't rewatched this again because I feel like Loki's died so many freaking times that
Yeah,
I can't, like.
They reference that quite a bit. Like I think, like when Thanos kills him and says, "No resurrections this time."
Yeah.
That's kind of the point.
Yeah. And it was neat seeing him actually try to be good. Like he was like,
Mhm.
he wasn't a bad guy really at the end of this.
And like
This is-
it finally called himself Odin's son, which is like puts to bed the whole saga of him being adopted as a frost giant and like
Frost Giant or whatever. Yeah.
being unfavored by Odin and pissed about Odin, making sure it's like, I'm not your brother, he's not my father, that kind of thing. He's sort of accepted that he was.
Yeah. But I think at this beginning scene, there's this whole battle and Ebony Maw. We get
Yeah.
to see who Ebony Maw is, which I was like, oh, that's the guy from Snap. I
Yeah.
love that guy. He's in one of my favorite decks I use in Snap.
This is-
I didn't know who Ebony Maw was until this point. He doesn't have a nose.
This
Good
group
work.
was like these minions of his were created in 2013. Actually, these guys
Oh,
have nothing
really?
to do with the original story.
So they're
This
not
was,
in the original story, these guys.
No, this is the Black Order, which is Thanos' henchmen. Like we've got Ebony Maw, who's the only one that talks, and well, I guess the other ones talk.
Yeah.
These were created in 2013, New Avengers Volume 3 by Jonathan Hickman and Jerome Pena and Jim Chung, who were Hickman is a really good comic writer that's really does not dumb anything down ever. So he writes these really big sort of epic storylines. So the Black Order are this Ebony Maw, and then there's the guy with the knife stick. That's Corvus Glaive. There's the lady
You call it a
Proxima Midnight.
knife stick?
It's a glaive, but Joe doesn't know what a glaive is, so it's a knife stick.
So you said knife stick for Joe's benefit.
Yes,
Yeah,
It's
I
a
don't
knife
know
on a
what a
stick.
glaive is.
yes, but
Do
now
you
you
know
do.
what a
It's a knife
knife-
stick.
Do you know what a knife stick is, Joe?
Nah, I don't really
He's
know
got.
what
He's
knife
basically got a staff.
Wait, is that a spear?
He stabs Vision with it later. And then there's Proxima Midnight, and then there's the big hulking dude with the axe. That's the Black Dwarf. Yeah, and sometimes they're called the Cull Obsidian, which is, Thanos, I think, just likes to call them that because he's pretentious. but they're known as the Black Order. They're his goons, and this is the first time we see them in the MCU.
Well, I didn't know who these goons kind of really were. And some of them, I don't know, the little elf-looking guy. I remember seeing him in one of the earlier.
Yeah, I think that's
things,
Corvus Glaive. You're thinking he's got
Yeah,
like a
so.
gnarly teeth and pointy ears.
And then like right away you see like everyone's like beat up. See Heimdall on the ground, looks like he's dying. And it's Ebony Maw's giving the whole speech about sacrifice. You guys are all sacrificing yourself, and you're now the children of Thanos and all this. And then Thanos starts crushing Thor's head, and Loki does the whole Tesseract bit, like, oh, you don't, here's this. And then he tricks him and says, we have a Hulk. And then Hulk shows up. And you think, oh, it's all going to be good. Hulk's going to beat the shit out of him. But yeah, he quickly makes quick work. Hulk quickly is quickly defeated by Thanos. Thanos really beats the shit out of Hulk, which really, I think, goes to show that Thanos is a badass, even with only one.
But didn't you also, the first time I saw this, it's one of those things that made me think that, like, Hulk is rage, right?
Yeah.
And, Thanos let him get his licks in, but then it's just like watching a boxing match. It's like, you can't just go in just rage wailing on someone because you get exploded really fast. And basically that's what Thanos did. Thanos like, okay, you good? You done now? Watch this. Let me show you how a technician fights. And he just fucking took him down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is Thanos he'd already had the power gem. They apparently Infinity War filmed a scene where like 40 minutes was cut out of this movie where Thanos actually goes and gets the power gem from Xandar. The power gem is what Ronan the Accuser was using in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And they got the Guardians, Star-Lord did the dance off and got it from him, and they gave it to Xandar, the Nova Corps,
you mean like in Footloose?
For safekeeping. What?
Did you mean like in Footloose?
Yes, just like in Footloose, the greatest film ever made. But so there was this whole sequence that didn't actually make it to film where Thanos just raids Xandar and destroys everything and gets the power gem in the first place. They just sort of later say, oh, by the way, he decimated Xandar last week and got the power gem, and now he's getting the space gem from Loki's Tesseract, which of course he stole from Odin's throne room back in Ragnarok.
Okay.
Real quick.
This is Thanos with the power gem kicking the Hulk's ass. All right, so we're gonna end there, but I do want to give a shout out. Apparently the Iron Sheik died today.
Oh no!
Oh no!
At age 81.
Iron Sheik. No.
So let's all say fuck the Hulk Hogan in honor of
Fuck the Hulk Hogan. Oh, I'm so sad about that.
Yes, Hulk Hogan is a dumb son of a bitch.
Oh,
wow.
Which is Iron Sheik's entire Twitter personality was all caps insulting Hulk Hogan about everything.
And a lot of people, like, he would insult, like, I think like Ron DeSantis and people like that. Like he was, oh man, that's a sad one.
That it is.
We should just put someone in the camel clutch just because today. And when you go to work today, someone backs up, you do it.
Oh, I'm sad.
I'll do my best.
Yeah, you ruined everything, Andy.
Hopefully no one acts up. Yep. He needed to be recognized as the former WWF heavyweight champion and the guy that screams a lot on Twitter and cusses a lot, and it's hilarious.
Wow. Well, that's a sad note to end on. So I guess just
way to go, Andy. Way to go.
Barf. Yeah, well, thank you guys for listening. We're gonna stop here because we have a lot to cover and we all have to go to our jobs and things. So
this is going to be my natural plug for those who would like us not to have to disrupt to go to work, that we are open to funds at all times. And remember, you get to rub someone's special thigh meat.
Yeah.
Give us sacks of money. Almost as Danhausen would say, give us sacks of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for $50.
That's how you can get Nerd Skool consistently.
$50 a month, you can spend a night a week with Art Star and do whatever you
One
want to
night
sexually.
only. One night only.
All right, thanks for listening, everybody.
I would like to leave
Later,
everyone
nerds.
with the Iron Sheik's pinned tweet on his Twitter. The most important tweet was, "Take a minute of your day to be nice to someone, you dumb son of a bitch."
Thank you for listening to the Nerd Skool podcast.
They say I can't rap about the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor. Still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end in racism. Proud over pessimism, glad to see Obama, but don't expect me not to speak out when I still see problems, Mr. Officer. Now they POTUS look like me, you gon' think again when seeing brothers rolling down the street. Every Martin Luther King on his American dream. Still a Rodney being beaten, screaming fuck the police. Me, I'm running through the pasture, trying to get away from master, but the dogs is on my ass, I gotta move a little faster. Can't pass for Caucasian, but I got a couple papers from the plantation saying I graduated. Congratulations, cool beans, but to most school mean trying to dodge STDs, living off government cheese. Trust the government, please. Not even if it was me sitting in the Oval Office as commander-in-chief, trying to give us free, but there's a nigga in my ear saying, "You got it, Superman. You ought to keep it here." Get this distinctly clear, I'm all about jetting. Raps Kunta Kinte without the half-stepping. A new chapter, back with new lessons. After that, the final exam. Any questions?
QueenCityPodcastNetwork.com.
Excelsior.